Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you about a true crime case that is going to blow your mind. I'm talking about the case of Michael and Dalia Dippolito. This brings us back to the year 2009 in Boynton Beach, Florida. Is it just me, or does a lot of crazy happen in Florida? Michael Dippolito had a slight rocky history with the law. He got into some trouble dealing drugs and he had some fraud charges against him, and he was on probation. This is when he met Dalia, who actually was working as an escort at the time. The two of them liked to party and have a good time together. Michael was pretty well off and Dalia definitely had some high-end taste. They were together for about a year when they decided to get married. Their life together was pretty normal, but things started to get a little bit weird. Like I said, Michael was on probation but had done really well for himself and he pulled his act together. Except one day in 2009, their home was visited by his probation officer. Of course, he let them in and he allowed them to search the residence, and the probation officer actually left without finding anything. And then there were a lot of similar instances that started to make him feel like something was happening, like he was a little uneasy and stuff. He felt like he was being set up, but he wasn't sure for what. Then there was one time where Michael and Dalia were staying at a hotel when he was informed that the police had received a tip from an anonymous source that he was dealing drugs from his truck that he was driving. He found out because the police came to search his truck, and of course they didn't find anything because he wasn't doing anything. However, a few weeks later, the police had received another tip. This time they told him that they had cocaine hidden under his tire, and his spare tire in the back of his truck. They searched it and actually they found something. Under some miracle, he was able to talk his way out of this. He explained to the police that he thought he was being set up and the police believed him. They let him go. Talk about some finesse. Damn. This guy can't catch a break because a few weeks later, again, something happened to him. This time he found a threatening note on his car window. On the note, they were demanding $40,000 and they said, "Don't tell anyone, especially your wife." Of course, Michael started to get really paranoid and he said, "Every time I walk out to my vehicle, I'm scared. I wish someone would just do something instead of torturing me." So he was wishing for someone to actually just hurt him instead of just playing this game with him. Then one day, out of the blue, Dalia went to one of her friends to confide in him. His name was Mohammed, and he was claiming that Michael was abusive towards her and basically that she wanted to get away from Michael. Shortly after that, it was a normal day and Dalia got up, went to the gym like she did pretty much any other day at 6 a.m. She was working out when she received a phone call from the Boynton Beach Police Department saying that she needed to come home immediately because something had happened to her husband.
At your residence, ma'am. Can you come right back to your residence, please?
They didn't tell her what happened, but she rushed home and saw police surrounding her home. She ran up to find out exactly what happened, and that's when they told her that someone had shot and killed her husband.
Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. He's been killed, ma'am. Try to calm down.
Of course, she burst into tears immediately. She was in hysterics. The police weren't really able to calm her down, but they told her that if they wanted to find out who did this to her husband, she needed to go with them immediately back to the police station. So Dalia went back to the police station with them. They calmed her down. They started asking her questions to see if there was anything that people would have against Michael, someone was out to get him. And then, are you ready to be shook? You know what? Just take a look for yourselves.
His mom is not going to be suspicious of you or anything like that.
Why me? Do you know what knowing somebody is? Nobody's going to be able to point a finger at me.
Yup, that's Dalia. And the guy, that's Mohammed. So you might be thinking, what the is going on? When I said earlier that Dalia went to Mohammed to confide in him, she was actually going to ask him to kill her husband. Remember all the times that Michael had the police stopping him and searching him for drugs? You want to guess who made that claim? Yup, I know, I'm shook. As soon as Mohammed had the conversation with Dalia, instead of even entertaining the thought, he went right to the Boynton Beach Police Department and he told them he let them know exactly what was happening. The police then, they set up a hidden camera in Mohammed's car and they recorded them having a conversation. And in that conversation, Dalia handed Mohammed $1,200 and a picture of Michael.
Mohammed tells Dalia the hitman wants $1,200 to buy a gun. She comes prepared. She has a wad of cash in her bag and counts it out and hands it over. And shortly afterward, gives him a photo of Mike.
Wipe my hands off the pictures.
To take it one step further and to make sure that they had all the evidence that they needed to have down pat, they had Mohammed set up a meeting with Dalia and a hitman so that she could finalize the deal with him. Then Dalia met up with the hitman, who of course was an undercover cop, and they sealed the deal. This brings us back to the morning where Michael was supposed to be killed. So the police then went and told Michael what was going on that morning. They woke him up out of bed. They're like, "You need to come with us. You need to listen. Your wife was trying to plan you to be killed." And then they set up a crime scene. They took Michael away, made sure he was safe, and they called Dalia. That's when she came rushing home from the gym, and they told her that he was killed, and watch her reaction.
Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, man. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. I'm sorry. Try to calm down.
I know. What a fake. Yeah, she wanted to see her husband because she wanted to make sure he was dead, not because she was upset. Like, get the out of here. They brought her into the police station, and that's when they told her that they knew exactly who she was and what she was up to. They told her Michael was alive, and the hitman she met with was actually an undercover police officer. Of course, she started to deny everything immediately. She burst into tears. She kept saying, I want to see my husband, I want to see my husband. And they told her, well, he doesn't want to see you. She kept proclaiming her innocence, and she was arrested. She was like, this wasn't me, I didn't do it, I promise. So then Dalia kept calling Michael from jail, claiming that everything was a lie and that nothing was the truth. She was set up. So then the case went to trial, where Dalia got herself a really good lawyer. They tried to claim that Michael was in on this the entire time and that he wanted to be famous and get on a reality show. Like, are you kidding me? Eventually the trial ended and she was found guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder and was sentenced to 20 years. Then, are you ready for this? Dalia's lawyers appealed the case because they found out that one of the jurors that was on the case had been misinformed about the facts of the case, and it actually caused a mistrial. During the next trial, Dalia tried to claim that the police were setting her up because they were actually filming with the show Cops. The cops were following the Boynton Beach Police Department at the time, and she was actually able to convince half the jury that it was a setup because the jury was deadlocked and another mistrial was declared. During the third and final trial, Dalia was finally found guilty. Currently, Dalia is in jail and she's slated to be released in 2032. Isn't that a crazy story? So what do you think? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Let's have a discussion. I want to hear what you guys have to think about this. Well, that's about it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell for notifications, whichever way it is on the screen. Also, be sure to make sure you follow all of my social media down below, and I'll see you guys next time.